Assalamu alaikum. Peace be upon you and your families. Greetings to non-Muslims. I hope you're doing well and fine. This video will be clear proof to sincere seekers for truth that this man that Paul claimed to be God, we will refute that claim by going strictly to words from the Bible clearly indicating that Jesus can never be God since he was man on earth and man in heaven. So Christians, open up your Bible, go to Numbers 23:19. And what do we read? Explicit words says, God is not a man. Simple. Clear as crystal. God is not a man. Now, was Jesus a man? Yes, according to the Bible, he is a man. It's explicit. So there you have it. Jesus cannot be God. On top of that, Jesus is killed. Now think about this for a moment. Can God die? Can God be killed? Look at that man in that picture. Yeah, the one in that picture right there. You say, that's God. Look at him. He's hanged on a cross, bleeding to death. You expect me to believe that this is God? This is the all-powerful God? I don't think so. So Christians will respond and say that we don't say that all of God died. No, we say that his body died. His spirit lived. It went on. Well, I don't see what the difference is between me and your God, since I will die and my spirit will live as well. In fact, my dog will die and his spirit will live as well. I don't mean to offend anyone, but that's not consistent. I mean, Alpha and Omega means eternal, completely 100%, and Jesus doesn't fit that criteria. I'm sorry, it doesn't work. Now, we'll refute the claim that the flesh wasn't God, as some Christians claim. They claim that the flesh isn't necessarily God, it's the human side, but the spirit lived on. Well, Christians, open up your Bible, go again to John 1:14. What do we read? And notice Christians use this against, to prove that Jesus is God. They use John 1:1, which says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God. And in John 1:14 says, and the Word became flesh. And the Word became flesh and dwelt among us. Notice in John 1:14, the Word, which is God, became flesh, not spirit. So if the Word is God, that means the flesh is God, since the Word became flesh. It doesn't say the Word became spirit. Hence, the Word is God, and since it became flesh, the flesh is also God. And saying that the flesh died clearly contradicts that God is Alpha and Omega and eternal. I mean, Jesus died, he got buried in the tomb for 3 days, his lights went out. I mean, come on, think about that, Christians. Now, on top of that, it gets worse. Christians, when I ask them, I say to Christians, well, when Jesus resurrected, as you claim, from the dead, did he resurrect spiritually or physically? The Christians will say physically and spiritually. Then I ask them, did Jesus ascend into heaven spiritually or physically? then they would bring Acts 1 through to 10 through to 11, which states that Jesus did indeed go into heaven physically and spiritually. So, again, that clearly proves that Jesus was a man in heaven. You know, Christians say, well, Jesus was a man on earth. Well, now Jesus is also man in heaven. He's man in heaven and he's man on earth, which again clearly proves Jesus is not God, since Numbers 23:19 says God is not a man. And it gets worse. Now, Jesus went up into heaven physically, right? And, you know, what makes a man? His private part. So the question is, what is God, what is Jesus, God, doing in heaven with a private part? It gets worse. It states that Jesus in heaven sat on the right-hand side of God. Now, if he's sitting, he has a physical buttocks and he's got legs. You know, you get tired, you want to chill out, you sit down. So Jesus is physical in heaven and on earth, which clearly proves again that Jesus cannot be God, since God is not a man. Numbers 23:19 clearly disproves the Christian position that Jesus is God. So, in conclusion, since Jesus is a man on earth and in heaven, hence he cannot be God, therefore Jesus should not be worshipped as a man, but be followed as a prophet and a messenger of God, just like the Muslims believe. That's all he is. A prophet, a messenger, a mighty man from God. Not God. He never claimed that. He never said, I am God, worship me. None of that. So I leave it to you, and I hope God guides the sincere seekers for truth to Islam and the truth. Thank you for listening. Goodbye. Good day.